What's up, Navigating Academia family? My name is Dr. J. Phoenix Singh. I want to warmly welcome you to this video where I'm going to be answering a valued viewer's question. This particular video is very special to me because I sincerely appreciate those of you who are watching videos on this channel and you're not an early career professional, you're a mid-career professional, or in this case, you're a later career professional. And you have, let's say, 10 to 15 years left of service, and you're wondering, okay, how can I make the most of these years to be able to go out really with a bang in terms of your career? Now, obviously, you're going to have a life after your career, I hope, and it's certainly something where I'm hoping that you're looking forward to that. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to read the question, which I've got on my phone right here, okay? And then I'm going to give you the answer. Before we go through this, though, please do me a big favor and hit that thumbs up button, hit that like button on this video. Returns the investment of my time in this because it helps to be able to get more visibility for the video, which therefore gives us more subscribers, and then it helps the channel to grow. You guys know me, my number one goal for this channel is to help as many people as possible. So if you can help me to do that, I'd really appreciate it. So if you're not a subscriber already, you enjoy our content, please do subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you get notifications. Okay, let's do it. So this question's from Adi. Adi, thank you so much for your question, mate, and thank you so much for watching. It really does mean a lot to me. So here we go. Let's do it together. So Adi says, I wish I had this advice. This is on a video that was released recently called The 5 Keys to Success as an Early Career Professional in Academia. So Adi says, I wish I had this advice at the beginning of my career in academia. Any advice for us who are late to the game and have 10 to 15 years left in the service? What should our focus be? Should it be, for example, to churn out papers? So Adi, this is a great question, man. And it's one of these situations where I think that regardless of where you are in terms of whether you're a mid-career professional, late career professional, after you've gotten through the initial stages of your career, because there's a lot of sound and fury, for lack of a better set of terms, that take place at that time in your career when you're first getting started. So, for example, when you're first getting started, you're thinking about finishing grad school, then you got the dissertation, then you want to publish everything for the dissertation, you get the postdoc, you get the first job, you're on the tenure clock, average tenure clock, at least here in the US, approximately 5 years. You want to go, you want to get tenure, fantastic, you got it. Probably at the same time or shortly thereafter, you say to yourself, hey, I've got baby rabies, I want to have some kids. So maybe you find a partner, maybe you have some munchkins. Then all of a sudden you're raising these kiddos and all of a sudden they're off to college 18 years later, at least here in the US. All of a sudden you're an empty nester, you got the career going strong, got the spouse who hopefully is still happy with you, have the kids who I'm sure are doing great. What do you do then? What do you do then? Maybe you're in your mid-50s. You say to yourself, I've got a good 10 to 15 years left. What do I do? Now, I find that individuals who are in this position have, without realizing it, amassed such a massive amount of practical knowledge about how to navigate their field that when you're in that place, I would argue that there are essentially two different elements that are going to bring you the largest amount of sustainable joy. Because let's put it this way. I always ask people a question idea. I ask people, what was the name of your great-great-grandfather? On either side, doesn't matter. And I have only had 2 or 3 people of the many hundreds of people that I've had this question to actually know it. And it's for a very specific reason. Maybe they were famous, or there was some really famous story about them in the family, like a joke or something like this, or a reference, so that people knew them. But outside of that, like, no one knows, right? It's the same thing in academia. There are over 1.5 million articles published a year, and that's been consistent for over the past decade. So much stuff comes out, and there's no sign that that's going to go away or that that's going to decrease. The likelihood that any of us, definitely myself, any of us, that our work is going to remain relevant, let alone cited, let alone seminal, in multiple generations down the line is almost nothing. I have found that the most fulfilling thing that I have ever done in my life is to give myself permission to not be a big deal in the field, or frankly, in anything professionally. I have found, and the data bears out, that the largest amount of variance that is accounted for in a multivariate equation where the outcome variable is happiness is the quality of the relationships that you have, not necessarily the number of relationships. You can have 50 shallow relationships, right? It is the value that you put onto relationships such that you actually put time into it, which increases its quality and increases the fulfillment that you're going to get. Now, obviously, if you're in a situation like the one I described earlier in the video, you hopefully already have a great relationship with your family and such. This is the time, though, to be able to begin to shift gears into the quote-unquote giving back mode. I'm going to refer to this stage of your career, Adi, as the legacy stage, because that's what you're trying to do. Now, some people, you're right, they do that via papers. I have to tell you that I do not think that it's a good idea for you to spend the next 10 to 15 years churning out papers. Why? Because in several generations, nobody's going to care about how many papers you have, what your H index is, or anything like this. I want you to think about how you can produce work that is going to have the most practical utility. I don't really care about you publishing stuff in really high impact journals at this stage, because it's one of these things. Like my highest impact journal publication was in British Medical Journal. That was already like almost a decade ago. And after doing that, it didn't really do anything for me, to be honest with you. I'm sure that it helped me to be able to get tenure. I'm sure it helped me to be able to get my full professorship. But outside of that, in terms of nobody like knows me because of that article or anything like this, British Medical Journal is going to keep chugging along just fine without me, okay? This is the stage there where you got to start thinking about that legacy element. So, for example, certain things that you have learned, very likely you have a pedagogical skill at this stage where you can be teaching other individuals. So to be able to give you a practical example of this, publishing something like a methodological primer, a treatment manual. Maybe you want to take on an edited book, and maybe you want to bring with you on that edited book several co-editors who are early career professionals, who are people who are very, very early on in their career. Maybe you want to do a special issue on a theme you're really passionate about. And maybe you want to have a co-guest editor who, again, is an early career professional who you can help to bootstrap up. Okay? That is what we need to be dealing with now. Giving back. Doing things for free. Like, for example, this YouTube video, this YouTube channel. I don't make any money from this YouTube channel, right? The reason that I make it, though, is because I didn't really have that many or any mentors when it came to my career. And so this is kind of like my little lasting legacy, which I hope to build over time. And this is why it's such a blessing to be able to have you with me, Adi, doing this, right? Is because this is something where we together, by making just this video, hopefully can be speaking to future generations, right? Remember, YouTube's the second largest search engine in the world. So it's one of these things where hopefully, these videos will be here, long after, Adi, you and I are gone. So that is my guidance right now. Don't churn out papers. Think about opportunities you have in your career to be able to lift up the next generation, and identifying and screening out individuals who just, they seem like they're kind of not really serious about the field. Try to find individuals who seem like they're really rising stars, because those are the people that you really want to give quite a bit of attention to and a lot of mentorship to. And I've made other videos on this. Finding a mentor in academia is really tough because, again, usually nobody's getting paid to be able to play that role, especially if they're at a different university than you are. But all right, Adi, that's my guidance for you. Love you, bud. Thank you so much for watching. Peace, everybody. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.